Uh, Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. Excuse me for sounding nasal. Seems like I got a little cold from messing around with the air conditioner in the hotel while I was in Atlanta. But I wanted to take the time to come on this afternoon. Hope everyone is having a wonderful afternoon. And I wanted to discuss how road trips. Hey, Nick. What's up, love? I wanted to discuss how road trips. Good afternoon, Brother Frederick. What's going on, sir? I wanted to discuss how road trips are much different nowadays. And my wife and I were talking. We were traveling back. We drove down to Georgia, drove back. And one of the things, good afternoon, brother, good afternoon. One of the things that I realized is that I was saying to her a few years back when I first started writing, hey, Rain, when I first started writing, I drove from New York to North Carolina for a book event, and I love to drive. So have driven all over the country. I've driven up to Canada and back to New York and things of that nature. But what has changed in this country, and every person of color understands what I'm about to talk about, is that the feelings that you have now when you drive and you are African American, Caribbean American, Latin American, anything that causes your skin color to be perceived as different as other individuals, there is a heightened sense of awareness and a heightened sense of fear when you're driving on the road today. I literally told Enterprise Rent-A-Car when I was picking a car up, please don't give me a car with New York City plates. Because the last time I rented a car from Enterprise that had New York City plates, I was stopped 3 times here in Delaware, where I live at. And each time, everything went well. But it was just the idea that they saw the New York City plates caused me to be profiled. Now, I knew I was being profiled, but I wasn't going to make a big scene and went on and did what I had to do. But there's always that fear. So this past week, my wife has her annual event that she does down in Georgia for her and my daughter. And we drove down. And so coming back yesterday, we're on the road. There was an accident or something on the route that we were on. The GPS redirected us, and it took us through a part of Virginia I had never been. So when I saw on the GPS that we had to get off in Charlottesville, of course, I'm thinking Charlottesville, that's where the situation happened with the riots and everything. And I said, okay, it is what it is. But I'm not a person that's going to get nervous just for the sake of getting nervous. Let's just do what we got to do. Daughter had to go to the bathroom, so we made a stop. As we pull up to this gas station, it has to be almost midnight. There's a Caucasian man sitting on a bench outside this gas station. My wife gets out, and as soon as the light goes on in the van, me and him make eye contact. The daggers that this man sent. Now, as a New Yorker, you know what that looks like. And let me just back up for a second to anybody watching that may be asking what I mean as a New Yorker. In New York, you have millions of people who travel, sometimes face-to-face on a train, face-to-face on a bus. You know certain looks of disgust, but you kind of learn how to control yourself simply because you don't want to start an all-out riot on the bus or the train. And it's not just exclusively New York. Don't get me wrong. But as New Yorkers, because we're forced to be together, often for long periods of time, you have a switch that kind of just holds things in place, because there's times you really want to lose it. But you're like, I just want to get off this train. I just want to get off this bus. Or I just want to get out this traffic. Because if I don't, or if I say something, So when this cat looked at me, and I looked at him, I realized I didn't do anything to him to have that type of look, which means that's a built-in look. You're right. We truly do. We do have our faces. We read faces well. So that look that he had was a built-in look. And it was clearly a look of discontent because of my skin color, because we hadn't had conversations. I've never seen him. So where would that look come from? That look came from because you could see my melanin in my skin. And then something quickly registered to me. My job right now is not to antagonize or get into what this look is about, but to make sure that my wife and my daughter is safe and that we get up out of Charlottesville, and we get home. It's not for me to try to figure out the racial component right now. And I know sometimes as folks of color, we want to deal with things initially as they're happening. You got to be smart. And I said this in the interviews, and I said this, on the Instagram videos that I did. We have to realize that the goal is to get home. I'll deal with anything else after that. The goal is to get the family home. We live in a hyper racial, yeah, brother, I got you. Just leave me your digits. I saw the message. Definitely leave me your number. We can definitely connect. We live in a hyper racial society, and if we feed into that issue, then not only can we become a victim, we can then cause those connected to us to be victimized in a way that makes no sense. And a part starts to get at you where you go, I want to say something, but I can't. Then I started to realize this is the danger of Donald Trump. Now, I already knew that. This is the danger of our president, is that there are a lot of folks who in the past wouldn't say anything. They'd have their feelings, they're going about their business. But now we've reached a point where not only do folks feel it's okay to just air their negative concerns, they feel it's okay to act upon them. And we have to really pay close attention to our role in these situations. I'm not asking anybody to be a punk. I'm not asking anybody to be scared that you just lower your head and whatever happens. And hold on one second. Oh, hold on one second.
Daddy, I'm making this picture for mommy.
I got you, baby. Got you. And so what I'm saying is, but we got to be diligently smart. We have to really understand, is this the time to address that? Do I stand to even make this an understandable situation? Because some people right now, because in this country, there's a faction that is just pushing folks to feel it's okay to just say what you want. That folks are causing intimidating situations to happen just so you can fall into those traps. We as people of color have to learn not to fall into those traps. That's what I'm getting at with this message. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand, is that we can't allow ourselves to fall into or fall victim to that, because then we play into the hands of those who have privilege, because the legal system not designed for us right now. The laws not designed for us. Representation right now, we don't have a lot of it. So if we fall victim to what's out in front of us right now because of initial emotions, we risk losing so much that we can't get back. So what do? We got to be smarter. And we got to start changing our platform. We have to start becoming politically literate. I read a lot, but I also pay attention to what a lot of people put online. It shows your political illiteracy. We got to change that. We have to start looking on smaller levels and occupying positions, and then look to make small changes. 1,000 small cuts can do more damage than one stab wound. We got to start learning how to manipulate situations that help us by putting the people in place, white or black, who have our best interests in mind instead of just sitting around complaining or decide we're going to charge in and try to change it at the physical level where we can't win. So even if I jump out the car and have my say, I don't want to get stopped by no sheriff in some town that I have no idea what this is going on, and now maybe have no one to represent me because of something I could have controlled. Is it bad that it's that way? Yes. Is it a shame that we reached that point where it feels like it's the 1950s? Yes. But what do? We can sit around and whine and complain about it. That's not going to change anything. They making moves. Or we can legitimately sit down and change how we do the things we do. And it's not just voting. That's the bare minimum. Yes, I'm going to say that again. It's not just voting. That's the bare minimum. It is actual hands-on activism. Where what are you putting out into the world on your page? What are you sharing? What are you repeating? Did you actually check and see if what you repeated is legitimate? Or are you just spitting rhetoric? Are you just out here repeating what you heard about Trump because you heard it on somebody else's page? Or are you sharing and posting stuff that somebody told you because it sounded good or it made Trump look stupid and you didn't even bother to check and see what? Thank you, baby. I'm sorry. Saying being stupid is a bad word in our house. But did you double check? Did you actually look and see what role can you play in your neighborhood? Did the works that you create foster a mindset of change, or did the works or stuff that you create further the same foolishness that's allowing people who don't look like us to try to hold us in place? That's the question. Because road trips are now different. There's no more jumping on the road and everything's going to be cool. You don't know which trooper is going to stop you. You don't know which person you're going to run into in whatever state. Now, we traveled through Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina to get to Georgia. Now, luckily, I've had no instances with troopers in any of those states. I keep to what I'm doing. But I can tell you right here in Delaware, when the trooper stopped my wife and I, you could see how nervous he was. And I had to make him calm by simply putting my hands in a position where he could see him, because he was young and he was nervous. And I'm a big black man and he was scared to death. And when he told me that I was going over the speed limit, I said, fine. He asked me for my license registration. I said, may I get it out of my console? And he said, yes. And he actually thanked me for asking. Now, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it so I don't create a situation that you feel that the only way you can handle it is with your weapon. Should I have had to do that? Not at all. But this is the world that we live in, and I'm not really stressing having to ask when a man has a weapon on the side of his hip that could end my life. So I gave my license and registration. Everything was cool. He reduced the amount of speed that I was doing, so where the fine was very cheap and didn't cost me. Put those crayons back in there. I said one at a time. Now, if I wanted to argue, should I have had to do that? We know I shouldn't have. But again, the goal was get my wife to work and get my behind home. I'll deal with the racial component in another capacity. Because if I now try to wage war, and this is something I want you to hold on to, keep this thought in mind. Say this to yourself when you're out and about with your friends, with whoever, when you're in what could be a racial situation. Is that the hill you want to die on? Yes, I said that. Because we know the outcome of a lot of these interactions with folks, racial interactions end with death. Remind yourself of that. Is that the hill you want to die on? Is that the fight that you want to die for? There's many other things that you can put your life on the line for. Don't do it over something stupid. And if you don't like the situations that's going on right now in this country, then you got to close your mouth from complaining and get into making changes. Get into the political arena, whether you wanted to get into it or not. Now, you don't have to go out here and try to become president, even though we've seen that anybody can become president in this country. But you can do something locally. You can do something in your children's school. You can do something on your own block with just simply going and talking to people who don't look like you. Getting to know them, getting to know what their fears are, getting to understand why they might feel the way they feel about us and why we feel the way about them, and sit down and understand that we still live on the same block. And then start with your own household. That's the real start. Start inside your own house. When your uncle, your mom, your dad, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your sons, your daughters, whoever, say something stupid, check them.
Daddy!
I'm sorry. Don't say stupid. But when they say something not smart, check them. When they say something apolitical, check them. When you're sitting around talking about some chicks or some chicks that y'all been with or some dudes you're trying to get with, or you want to sit here and sing the Cardi B song where you know every word, but you don't have no idea what's going on with these amendments or anything that's going on, check yourself. Start in your home. Extend to your block. Extend to your community. Just do that. You'll find that some of you are going to start to enjoy it, so you might want to do more. But if you can't do that, then don't complain about what can happen to you and what will happen to you. There's a lot of danger on those roads. A lot of it is going to come from people driving just like you, and some of it is going to come from the people who are supposed to, I'm going to say this again, supposed to protect us. You don't know when you're dealing with somebody who that badge means nothing to them. You don't know when the person walking up to your car doesn't care what the Constitution says or what oath they swore. They're not going to walk up with a rebel flag. Now, you're going to run into those that are. You're going to run into those that they're draped in the rebel flag. It's on their car. It's on their wrist. It's on their belts. It's on their boots. It's the flag hanging from their truck. They're not going to hesitate to let you know that this is what it is. And so you're going to have to learn to know when and it's time to leave it alone. Say nothing. And so I'm not gonna belabor the point. What I am gonna just say, hold on, got a few messages here. Yes, sir. I know you're on the highways, Dollar Bill. I know you know. And as a truck driver, I know what you have to deal with. I see the drivers out there pushing it. And I think what scares me is that I used to see when I travel, and I travel a lot, and I drive a lot. Like I said, I love to drive, and I attended a lot of events in a lot of states. Like I said, I love to drive. I've driven to Detroit. I've driven to Georgia. Listen, I love to drive. Drive to Ohio, whatever. I used to see a friendliness that is not there anymore. It's people are kind of nervous about how people are going to react. Thank you so much, Dora. Yeah, we made it back safe. I wasn't going to allow within my power anything to happen to Tiff and the baby. But I can honestly say I've seen a change in how people react to each other since the president has taken office. And I'm not happy with it. But I don't try to feed into it. I don't try to feed into becoming the angry black man because the angry white man became president. I'm not giving that. I'm not getting into that. I'm going to continue to be the Christian that I am, present myself in the way that I need to be, and lead by example, and hope that that's enough. So I'm going to hold the door. I'm going to have a conversation. I'm going to ask, how are you doing today? I'm going to extend myself to, as they say, be the light that I want to see back from other people, knowing that I may not see that. knowing that I may do all that and still get called a nigger, knowing that I may offer a gesture of kindness only to have it returned with an offer of negativity. Okay, that's not going to change what I do. And as for my political involvement, that's why I went back to school to get a degree in counseling. I'm trying to work on the grassroots level with people who have problems. It's why I have a job as a crisis operator. So I can deal with people. Leave it. Don't pull that out. Leave it there. Go ahead and color, baby. That's why I'm a crisis operator. So when people call, I don't know whether you're white or black. I just know that you're in trouble and you need somebody to speak to. And I'm that person. I don't get on the phone and go, are you white? Are you black? And because of that, the level of help that I'm going to give you is going to change. No, it's not. When I pick up that phone, if I have a parent who is in need for assistance with their child, they get help. Unapologetic, no racial bias, help. I am trying to be the example that I'm asking you, if you're watching this right now live or if you're watching this on replay, what you should be in the world. Because now when you get on the road, it's going to be different. And I'm going to tell any person of color, be careful. And if you got to travel at night, make sure you clean. And y'all know what I mean when I say clean. And if you got your paperwork and you're a person that's carrying your weapon, have it somewhere where you can get to it quicker than having to go reach for it. Don't give a cat an excuse. I'm not saying not exercise your right to carry it. That's your right, carry it. If you want to carry the weapon, carry it. But understand that this skin color and a weapon causes people to react blindly. Just be careful. And if you out with your family, brothers, that's not the time to let machismo get in front of intellect. Check yourself. Humble yourself. Realize that even if you have to bite your lip and your kids are not clear on what's going on, even if you feel embarrassed that you have to do that, you can straighten that out at home. You can explain that at home. But to make moves and maybe have them now see the trauma or have to go through the trauma of seeing you harmed or their mother harmed, that is more lasting and more dangerous than anything that could happen from a slightly bruised ego. Because unfortunately, we live in a country that is so racially divided. This is something that we have to deal with, whether we want to deal with it or not. And part of it is our fault too, brothers and sisters. Yes, it is. Part of it is our fault because we're not holding each other accountable. We're not holding ourselves to a higher level. We're not saying to ourselves, you have to do better because I'm trying to do better. Okay, hold on a second. I'm sorry. Oh, boy. And it's something that is extremely important, and we have to do it, whether we want to do it or not. And you're probably going to lose some friends. You're going to lose some friends that when you tell them, yo, you need to humble that and just get home. I ain't no punk, man, and I didn't know you was a punk. Stop. Play with your coloring book. I ain't know you was no punk. I ain't messing with you. Okay.
I don't want to make a heart.
Go ahead and color. KL. Daddy's talking right now. I need you to go ahead and color. Put your crayon back in there. Yeah, when you do live videos and you're babysitting your daughter. So again, what I'm saying to you is you're going to risk losing some people. KL, get up. And where'd that crayon go? Pick that crayon up. You definitely know it's live, huh?
I don't know what to do.
Okay, I want you to sit down right there, and I want you to color until I get done, and I'll show you, okay? Try it a different way. What did I say to you? It can't happen if you quit. Now sit down and show me that you tried. Show me. Show me that you tried. Let's go. Come on. There you go. Try it, and then we'll figure it out in a second. But anyway, guys, I'm sorry. Listen, I wanted to give the message out. Maybe I could have waited till later, but still it is what it is. So again, guys, as I go to help my daughter with her frustrations with coloring, because she can't make the heart that she wants to make. Don't allow ego. I want to just sum this up real quick. Times have changed in this country. And these are some very desperate and some very dire times. And there's some people who feel that it's okay just to let their innermost whatever out. Don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in letting your emotions cause you to make a decision that could cause you harm, your family harm, and where you don't make it home. When you're on the road, the key is to get home. Then we can strategize what the fight is going to be to make up whatever you lost. Try to gather information, badge numbers, settings, addresses, all the things that you can think about that are going to help you remember. Stop. I will help you, darling. Keep your gun put on the sun visor. Yes. It's much harder than for somebody to say, well, he was trying to pull a gun down from the sun visor than reaching down for something. Put it on the dash, a little piece of tape, something that's going to allow you to be able to reach forward or up. That's not going to cause a situation. Is it sad that we have to be this way? Yes. But we need to figure out what it's going to be. So, but listen, guys, let me run, only because I got to help the little one out. She's losing her mind with coloring. This is what happens when you have a 3-year-old. But again, I hope this message has helped someone. I'm going to jump on at a later time, and we'll definitely catch up. Again, I apologize for my little one here. I thought she was going to be able to sit through the whole video. She did pretty good. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. Dollar Bill, appreciate you, bro. Definitely. And I'll probably be on, I'm thinking if not later on tonight, maybe tomorrow. There's some other things I want to talk about that I've had the chance to think about while I was away for the week in Georgia. But I will definitely catch up. Appreciate you. If you want to reach out to me, my email is mainoffice@Bravin, BRAVIN publishing.com. On website is Bravin, BRAVIN publishing.com. And the voicemail is there also. You can just check out the voicemail and reach out to us. 3-year-olds are here losing their mind. Anyway, let me jump off. I'll talk to you in a little bit.